Today, we're going to talk about 10 drivers who could drive the A car for Junior Motorsports in 2024. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. At the end of the 2023 season, Josh Berry will be moving up to the Cup Series to drive the 4 car for Stewart-Haas Racing as Kevin Harvick retires from full-time NASCAR Cup Series racing and will join the Fox Sports booth in 2024. So today, we'll talk about 10 drivers who I believe could be candidates for the A car heading into the 2024 season. The first driver who could drive for Junior Motorsports in the number 8 car in 2024 is Carson Ozbar. Carson Ozbar has been extremely impressive in 2023. He's already scored 2 wins in the Truck Series so far in 2023, including winning the most recent race a couple days ago at Nashville Super Speedway and basically holding off hard-charging Zane Smith to get the victory. But it's not just that. He has been extremely impressive in his select Xfinity Series starts, driving the 77 car for Aspire Motorsports. And something interesting to know about that 77 car, they have an alliance with Junior Motorsports. And like I said, I think Carson Ozbar has been extremely impressive in that number 77 car this season. A lot of people looking at him to be the favorite currently at the moment. There's a lot of reasons why. Number one, he's got sponsorship from Premier Security, which are a big reason why he's been able to drive his 77 car for Aspire Motorsports. But like I said a second ago, that Aspire Motorsports team has connections to Junior Motorsports. And Dale Jr. has also praised Carson Ozbar on social media. You go back to this Cup Series debut before he had the brake rotor issues, Dale Jr. was really praising Carson Ozbar for his debut, and he was extremely impressive and was running 16th at the time for the brake rotor failure ended up happening. I think Carson Ozbar deserves an opportunity to drive the 8 car. And one thing a lot of us talked about coming this year, could he clean up on his maturity? Well, I think Carson Ozbar in the last few months, since that Martinsville incident where he tried to right where I think it was Taylor Gray at the time at Martinsville, since that incident, he has matured as a driver and his racecraft has gotten better and he's taking a lot more responsibility, is not doing stupid stuff. He's basically backing up talk, said, I got to clean up my act and start acting a lot more mature on the racetrack. Well, I think he's been doing that, and I think his maturity has been showing, and I think he is going to continue to improve as a race car driver. And I think he is someone, if he gets in the A car next year, I think he is going to be a championship threat and a championship contender. I think he'll win a couple races. He's on a short list of top teams who could be wanting him next year as well, but I think Carson Ozbar has a really strong and a very good chance to get an A car next year. He's an early favorite for the ride, and I think he has a really good chance and a very, very good shot to drive the number 8 car in 2024. I think he's got a really good chance to drive the 8 in 2024. The second driver who could drive the 8 car for Junior Motorsports in 2024 is Rajah Caruth. Rajah Caruth currently drives a 24 truck for GMS Racing, and while he did struggle so far in the early portion of 2023, and he's had a lot of bad luck, he's been showing a lot of speed. Last time in the truck race in Nashville, he was contending for the lead before field pressure issues came into play. And he's been improving on a week-by-week basis as a driver. He's been qualifying a lot better. The pickers definitely been hurting him. They've been making mistakes that have hurt him, but also some other outside factors have been hurting him. Now, Rajah right now does not have a ride going into the 2024 season because it's likely that GMS Racing will be switching to Toyota as GMS is part of that Legacy Motor Club brand, and of course, it's likely that GMS will switch Toyota. So right now, Rajah is likely not going to have a ride heading into the 2024 season. Well, I think Rajah Caruth would be a very, very solid driver put in the 8 car in 2024. I think Rajah has a lot of talent. He's also got funding from the Wendell Scott Foundation, and I think he deserves a shot. Now, if he doesn't go to the 8 car next year, I could see him still being in the Truck Series for Rev Racing or KBM, but I think Rajah does have a shot. He's also made quite a few Xfinity Series starts, and I think at times in Xfinity Series, I think he's been really, really impressive. He races drivers really, really clean and really, really respectfully, and he does take responsibility, and he's got a lot of maturity as a young race car driver. I think he's someone that has a really good chance and a really good shot to drive this car. I think he'd be a really good candidate. He's got sponsorship and funding right now. I think he's got a really good chance and a very, very good shot to potentially be the driver of the number 8 car next year. He could be a candidate for the 8 in 2024. The third driver who could drive the 8 car in 2024 is Carson Quiffa. Carson Quiffa is currently the late model driver for Junior Motorsports in the late model divisions in the Cars Late Model Tour. And Carson Quiffa has been looked at by a lot of people who is kind of similar to Josh Berry. Josh Berry, of course, came from the late model scene. Dale Jr. founded him. And basically, he came from the late model scene, has done a really good job getting a lot of Xfinity Series wins. Carson Quiffa has not made a NASCAR top tier start. Like I said, he's been in the Cars Late Model Tour. But some people do believe that he could have an opportunity and a shot to drive in the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year in 2024. 2024 in the A car. And I think Carson Quiffa has a lot of talent, and I think he deserves a shot and opportunity with Junior Motorsports, whether that's with the 88 car or the A car next year. That's to be determined. But he's easily going to have sponsorship funding from Bass Pro Shots. Bass Pro is a sponsor of Carson Quiffa's, albeit that is a Dale Jr. sponsor as well. But I would imagine that Carson Quiffa is going to be a very, very good potential candidate. I think he's got a lot of talent. Also, the son of Travis Quiffa, who's a really good driver in his own right at times. I do believe Carson Quiffa deserves a shot and opportunity. If he doesn't go to the A car next year, the 88 car is potentially a possible available ride, but I do believe that we should see Carson Quiffa have a shot and opportunity. I think he's going to be a candidate. I think he's got a really good chance to get in the ride, and I can see Carson Quiffa having a shot and a potential possibility of driving the A car heading into 2024, because people think he got a very similar career statistics to Josh Berry, and that'd be really cool for him to get a ride in 2024 in NASCAR. The fourth driver who could drive the A car for Junior Motorsports in 2024 is Matt Benedetto. Now, Matt Benedetto has been a Cup Series driver in the past, drove for Woodburs and other teams, but currently drives the 25 for Rockley WAR Racing. And Matt Benedetto, I think, has been extremely impressive in the Truck Series this year. He's had 4 consecutive top 10s going back to basically many weeks ago, and I feel like Rockley WAR Racing is really, really proven. But I think a big reason why that team has been taking major strides and big improvements, a lot of it has to do with Matt Benedetto. I think Matt Benedetto is one of the most overhated and most underrated drivers in NASCAR to this day. This team 2 years ago was basically having issues qualifying in the races, but they brought Matt Benedetto in. They nearly made the playoffs last year in 2022. Actually got a win at Talladega, albeit a very controversial finish at the time, but Matt Benedetto won a race last year. And I think he is an extremely good driver, and I think it'd be really cool for him to have a shot opportunity and a great ride once again. And if Matt Benedetto gets in the A car, he would be a championship threat and a championship contender. He's taken rides that are not that good and made them much better. Look at the Wood Brothers. Ever since he left the Wood Brothers, that team's fallen. No disrespect to Harrison Burton, but Matt Benedetto is way better of a driver than Harrison Burton. Matty D made the playoffs in 2020 and nearly made it again in 2021 and almost won races those 2 years respectively. I think it'd be really cool for Matt Benedetto to have a shot at a top-tier ride once again. He really hasn't had a chance to have a top-tier ride in his career, so I think it'd be really fun for him to drive for Junior Motorsports. I think he's got a really good chance and potentially a really good opportunity and a shot. I could see him driving the A car in 2024. The fifth driver who could drive the A car for Junior Motorsports in 2024 is Kyle Weatherman. Now, Kyle Weatherman's probably another one you're thinking is a little obscure, but I'm going to explain why I think Kyle Weatherman could be a potential possibility. The first reason, he is an extremely underrated driver, always gets the best out of equipment. He runs up front with teams like Our Motorsports. He runs up front with teams at times like JD Motorsports, and was really good with Jesse Wuji's team as well last year in 2022, finishing the top 20 with the Jesse Wuji cars, and has been sometimes getting for top 10s with underfunded equipment as well. But the second reason why Kyle Weatherman could have a shot in the number 8 car in 2024 is he's currently a sim driver for Hendrick Motorsports currently at this moment. And I think being a sim driver for that team, which I think has really helped Hendrick Motorsports in a big way, I really think that this could be a huge part in why Kyle Weatherman has a shot and an opportunity to drive the 8 car in 2024. I think he's a really underrated driver. I think he's really, really good. And I've said this for a long time. If he gets a big break, I think he's going to take that car and win some races. He's been extremely impressive. I like his talent. I think he's going to be really, really good if he gets a great shot and opportunity. I think if Collinsworth's looking at him too, that would be really, really cool to see. But I think Kyle Weatherman deserves a shot and opportunity, and I hope that Kyle Weatherman does in the future get a shot and opportunities. I think it would be really fun for him to drive for Junior Motorsports. I think he'd do a really solid and a really, really good job. And Dale Jr. definitely needs to be looking at Kyle Weatherman because I think he could be a really good candidate for this A car in 2024. The sixth driver who could drive the A car for Junior Motorsports in 2024 is Lane Riggs. Now, Lane Riggs is the son of Scott Riggs. I believe Lane Riggs has made starts for Junior Motorsports in the Cars Late Model Tour Series, and Lane Riggs has been extremely underrated in his Select Truck Series starts over the years. I go back to last year when he drove for Hallmer Friesen Racing, especially at Phoenix, where he qualified on the front row or started up front and led the early portion of the Phoenix race, albeit the finish was not that good and the truck kind of fell off as the race progressed. But Lane Riggs has been very, very impressive. And before he got involved in that wreck last night in Nashville, he was standing for a top 20 in a Young's Motorsports truck. Lane Race can always get the best out of equipment. I've said that for a long time. This guy deserves a shot and opportunity. And I think Dale Jr. has had this guy on his radar because even though he's not made an Xfinity Series start yet, I think if he gets a start in the Xfinity Series, I think he's going to do a really, really good job. And Lane Race is, 20 or 21 years old? So he's a relatively young driver, and showing this much impressiveness as a driver, I think is really, really great to see. I think Lane Race could be a candidate. I think he's got a shot to get in there, and I can see Lane Race having a shot to drive the A car heading into the 2024 season. The 7th driver who could drive the A car for Junior Motorsports in 2024 is Nick Sanchez. Nick Sanchez currently drives a 2 truck for Rev Racing, has at times been really, really impressive. Nearly won that Texas race, probably should have won the Texas race, unfortunately got turned by Carson Ozbar near the end of that one. But Nick Sanchez has been at times very, very impressive. Had a great run this past race in Nashville in the Truck Series, and he's also made a lot of Xfinity Series starts in the number 48 car in 2022. And I have to say, at times, he looked very, very good in that 48 car. And I think Nick Sanchez is definitely someone who could win a Cup Series championship one day, and someone who I think will be long-term considered for Cup Series rides in the long-term future. I think Nick Sanchez obviously has got a really good shot, got the Rev Racing and the Chevy connections, and does have some sponsorship from Gamebridge. They've been loyal to Nick Sanchez, I think, since his days in the ARCA Menard Series when he drove for Rev Racing as well. I think Nick Sanchez would be a really, really good candidate. Now, I think if he goes to Cup, he could be in the RCR pipeline. We'll have to wait and see. But I do believe that Nick Sanchez does deserve a shot and opportunity, and I could see him having a shot to potentially drive the A car in 2024. The 8th driver who could drive for Junior Motorsports number 8 car in 2024 is Christian Eckes. Now, Christian Eckes currently drives full-time for McAnally Hilgeman in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and he has been extremely good this year. Compared to the last driver drove truck being Derek Kraus, who never made the playoffs, Christian Eckes already scored 2 wins so far in the 2024 season. Rhino is a championship threat and a championship contender. Now, there's been some rumors he could be in the pipeline for a call ride next year, but I think he could also be a driver everyone's looking at for Junior Motorsports heading into 2024. And one thing that helps, he does have sponsorship funding, though I will say Napa's been loyal to the McAnally Hilgeman group for over 30 years, so sponsorship could still be maybe a potential issue for Christian Eckes. But I think Christian Eckes has been really good this year in the Truck Series, and I think he would be a very, very good candidate to potentially drive that number 8 car heading into the 2024 season. I think get the best out of equipment. I think get the best out of that ride. I think he's got a really good opportunity to potentially drive the 8 car, and I think he will be a candidate for that ride in 2024. The 9th driver who could drive the A car for Junior Motorsports in 2024 is Bailey Currey. Now, before last night, I would not have Bailey Currey on this list, but last night, he had a very, very impressive race at Nashville Super Speedway with Nice Motorsports, and also teammate of Carson Ozbar. He ran top 5 and top 10 all night long, and at points was contending for the lead and contending for the win, and finishing in 5th position, which is really, really good for the 41 truck, which a lot of times you have Carson Ozbar, who is completely dominating, out qualifying and outrunning everybody at times, including Ross Chastain at times. But I do believe that Bailey Currey is a really underrated driver who can always get the best out of equipment, and I think he'd be a really awesome and a really strong candidate for the number 8 car heading into 2024. The guy can get the best out of equipment. I saw what he did at JD Motorsports back in the day, especially last year. He deserves a shot, deserves an opportunity, and I think Bailey Currey would do very, very good. He's going to be the Nice Motorsports truck at all the races this year, except at Mid-Ohio when Connor Daly takes over the ride. I think he will be a really, really good candidate to drive the number 8 car in 2024. And the 10th and final driver who I could see driving the A car in 2024 is Jeffrey Earnhardt. Jeffrey Earnhardt is the nephew of Dale Jr. Now, I'll mention Jeffrey Earnhardt for one big reason, and one reason only, is because of that family connection. Jeffrey does have some sponsorship funding from Forever Lawn, which that's one thing that Junior Motorsports will be looking at for next year, is sponsorship and funding when it comes to that. And I think Jeffrey does have some talent as well. I know Jeffrey has struggled, especially at times in the 45 car for Alpha Prime Racing, but I feel like the Alpha Prime Racing has taken a step backwards this year compared to last year, though they've had times where they have done really, really good with their drivers. I think Jeffrey does have a slight chance and a slight shot to get the ride, and I could easily see him having a shot to potentially drive the number 8 car in 2024, due to the main reason being the family connection. Keep an eye on that, because I think he could drive the 8 car in 2024. So those are the 10 main drivers who could drive the A car 2024. I've got a couple honorable mentions I'm going to mention. The first one being Derek Kraus. Derek Krause has sponsorship funding, I think, backing him, and I think he's been really impressive in his select Xfinity Series starts with Kyle Grayson this year, contended for top 10s. He's been pretty good this year. And then the second and last one I'm going to mention is Anthony Alfredo. Anthony's been driving Beach Club Motorsports equipment and is like 15th or 16th in points. He's had a lot of bad luck this year. Will be a playoff driver enough. Now, with all the bad luck, I think Anthony's a really good driver, and I think he deserves a shot at the right. So those are the main 10 drivers. Who do I think is going to end up in the A car? Well, I think it's going to end up being the first guy mentioned, Carson Ozbar. Carson is the easy favorite to take over the A car heading into 2024. I think he's going to be really, really good next year, and I think he will be the driver who goes in the A car in 2024. Got the Premier Security sponsorship, which is a sponsor him, and I think Worldwide Express could be a sponsor as well next year. I think Carson will be your driver in 2024. So, that is going to be our today's special video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on so notify when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment below your thoughts below which driver you think will drive the A car in 2024. Let me know which driver you think will drive that car in the comments below. Later tonight on the channel, depending on the weather, we'll have the NASCAR Cup Series race review for National Super Speedway. Then tomorrow on the channel, we'll have the Chicago. We'll be starting to talk about the Chicago Street Course, have Xfinity Series race picks, and also NASCAR news video on the channel. Then on Tuesday, we'll have maybe something special on the channel, maybe a silly season up there, something along the lines I'm not entirely sure, or maybe I'll do a preview of the Chicago Street Course event on this channel, or maybe something special on the channel I'm not entirely sure, and then also have something maybe else as well on the channel if any news breaks. Wednesday will be an NASCAR news video, then Thursday will be race picks for the Chicago Street Course event. We got a lot of content dropping as we get closer to the playoffs as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.